So I tried to take the high road with a polite, "We're unavailable," and got hit back with, "Just say you don't wanna or you're a brokey." Here comes the queen in all her glory. Splendid. I love how much our dear Queen Capybarbara has become part of not only PocoMuses lore, but also the setup. So I had to do a ceremony. She's been coronated for a while now, but you know, she needed her entrance. Greetings, weary travelers and fellow story gremlins, to the Reaction Sleepover. This is the series we get cozy and we react to stuff. Hello, little fuzzball. And hello, little fuzzballs. All of you wrapped in your blankets already. Oops, forgot to turn that down. What? Hello? Huh? Okay, my camera pooped out for no reason, and it was right after my heater turned on. Ghosts, what have I done? Are you not pleased, Queen Capybarbara? What have I done to ire thee? Okay, so, without further ado, grab your cozies and snackies. Let's head on into it. Did I mention we're doing wedding stories? That should probably be obvious. If you have any, be sure to share them. Either email me or links in the description. You can either go to the Reddit or the Google form, whatever you'd like. This is, they invited my daughter to be a flower girl, but I was not invited. Interesting. Have I been eating crazy cakes? I am every day of my life. I wonder what flavor a crazy cake would be. Just really weird flavors. Am I off base? I really need to know. Becky is someone I have known for many years. We are in the same social circle, more like friends of friends, but we are not super close. It's really more like acquaintance I run into from time to time. I do see them and hang out with them at gatherings, probably 3 to 4 times per year. I don't know why I just looked at you then. Pay attention! Look at me! But I've never been to their house, nor them to mine. We are NPCs to each other. I wonder how NPC moments I have. You ever wonder about that? Just when you're out in public, you're an NPC in someone else's story. I'm a single parent to an 11-year-old girl, and I received a call from Becky, who has never called me in her life before this. Never? Oh. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense with acquaintances, but that would be kind of funny. Her name flashes on the screen, you're like, what is this? Witchery? Witchery? Witchcraft? All the above. I realize I'm still holding my cup. I might put it down. Beep beep. The utter panic that you feel, just like every other time that you get a phone call that you're not expecting. Asking if my daughter would do the honor of being a flower girl because there are no other young kids in her family. Yeah, if that's specifically what you're wanting. It's just your uncle being the flower person. Welcome everybody! Cracking jokes as he's throwing the petals. Flower uncle. Side note, my daughter who would eat that up. She'd love to be a flower girl. I asked for the wedding date and where it was, and she told me that it was at a winery in the middle of nowhere. Odd to specifically say it's in the middle of nowhere. It's fine. Oh yeah, and you're not? Okay, yeah, hold on. Hold on. I know there's more to read, but yeah, even thinking about just that, it's at a wedding in the middle of nowhere, and these are acquaintances, but you are not invited to look after your child in the middle of nowhere, in a room full of strangers. I don't know if I'd be a fan of that either. Let's go on. Almost 2 hours driving from where we live. But she also said that it's an extremely intimate wedding for family and a few... Let me finish the sentence first. Hold off, squirrels. Hold off! And a few very close friends, and unfortunately there wouldn't be room for me at either the ceremony or reception. I'm sure you can understand. I understand that you're out of your mind. Yeah, that feels really, right off the bat, that feels strange. I mean, like I was saying a minute ago, like, hold on. This is in the middle of nowhere, and I'm not invited to look after my child in a room full of people I don't know. Not accusing of anything, but like, any parent who wants to look after their child would feel uncomfortable by that. I would feel uncomfortable by that. I don't want to drop off my kid in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I would feel uncomfortable with that. And that's point one. Point B, this is an intimate wedding. Family and a few close friends, but then there's just this random girl that you don't really know? Come on, just get Uncle Jared to do it. Or maybe someone has a baby, that could be cute. Someone holds the baby as they throw petals down or something. Because like traditionally, yeah, I mean, I can understand wanting to have someone who's typically around that age range to be the like flower girl or whatnot, but all the context together so far, it's very odd to be like, I want your daughter, but not you. Weird. I told her I'd have to look into it and call her back because honestly, I was too stunned to reply. The woman was too stunned to speak. Listen, I have zero problems not being invited to anyone's wedding. You do you and your day. No problem. But let me get this straight. Becky wants me to spend the time, money, on getting a flower girl dress and shoes, drive my kid 2 hours away to a winery. This is a winery, too. In the middle of nowhere, and drop her off unsupervised with a bunch of adults that I don't know. And I should do what? Wait in the car? Wait down the road? Wait in the bathroom? Yes, hide in there. When the bride inevitably has to go to the bathroom and deal with all that nonsense, you pop out of the stall like, boo! Like some little toilet gremlin. You can't contain me! Wait in the kitchen with the caterers? LOL. Now, I agree. I would feel very uncomfortable with that. There isn't even a cafe within a 30-minute drive. Yeah, because, like, you know, no one wants anything to happen. But what if something happens and you're not there? That poor thing would feel so scared, I feel like. Depending on how, like, shy she is. I mean, some kids are very friendly, but that doesn't mean that you should just leave them in a group of strangers when you're not allowed to be in the vicinity. Am I off base thinking this is just totally bonkers? Not really. I really don't think so. And then, this is an update. So this text message string is from a few months ago, and I'm just getting around to sending it. So I tried to take the high road with a polite, we're unavailable, and got hit back with, just say you don't wanna or you're a brokey. I'm gonna... Let me just get back to you. By the way, this is a stress toy fridge. It's gotten me through some tough moments. Like right now. The audacity to receive a polite no and then just assume that they're just broke. And even if they don't want to, brain is breaking as we speak. This is an acquaintance. To have the audacity to go, like, to be offended by someone saying no when they're not even really that close with you. I assume you said that this is just an acquaintance. Or just be like, oh, just tell me you're broke. Like, ma'am, I'm allowed to say no. That is so rude. There is no need. That is unfortunate when people, like, are truly not expecting people to say no and then they throw a fit about it. Like, people can say no, especially if they really have little to no obligation to cater to your demands. From the context, this person does not need to feel obligated to say yes. Or even go into detail. No is a full answer. No is a full answer. Yeah, if someone says no, don't, especially very reasonably, there's no need. This is not the only person available for tossing flowers on the ground. Into the naughty corner you go. No ice cream for you. That is so unnecessary. I have to confess the 2 glasses of Cabernet Dragon woke up inside me and I kind of went off on a rant. Was it my finest moment? Absolutely not. Did I say F right off near the end? Yep, that was me. It's like that whole story time of, yep, that's me. And I blamed the wine. And the effing audacity of, well, all of it. On the plus side, she never applied, and it has been months, so I assume the role of unpaid child actor went to central casting and this episode is closed. Unpaid child actor. It's not even that far off. It would be an unpaid child actor. That child would straight up be like, I don't know you! And then we actually have some screenshots of that interaction. Our storyteller says, unfortunately, we are unavailable at that time. Sending warm wishes that your wedding is everything you've dreamed of and wish... I can read, I promise. And wish you both the best in your new life together. Congratulations. Heart, bride, ring. For real? Oh boy. You're busy over a year from now? Just say you don't want to do it or are a brokey. LOL. Literally word for word. Ha 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 ha. Also, people also... People plan things years in advance that are not wedding related. Weddings are not the only thing that people plan. Just take the no. You're not entitled to... You're not entitled. Period. I was trying to do something nice and include your kid in my day, and you can't even be honest. So rude. Goodbye, soul. I didn't need you anyway. IDK why you're acting like this. I don't know why you're acting like this. This is goblin behavior. Desist. Oh my goodness, this is a wall of text. And as our storyteller says, not their proudest moment. And I respect that, like reflecting on it, be like, you know, that probably was unnecessary. Was it cathartic? Probably. But you know, sometimes it happens. Sometimes we just lose our cool, especially if we are trying to do better from that point on. All you can do is accept that it happened and try to do better. So our storyteller responded with, "Come again? WTF. I tried to take the high road, but you had to push it. So let's get this straight. You asked me to dress up my 11-year-old child, spend time and money to drive her 2 hours away to a remote winery, and hand her off like a meatloaf, unsupervised, to a group of adults she doesn't know, just so she can perform in your ceremony while I check notes. Wait alone outside like the hired help. Let's call it what it is. What you are asking for is a prop, a glorified Insta accessory, not a guest, not an actual human being." Ooh. I mean, here's the thing. Could it have been said in the more taking the high road way? Absolutely, that's always true. But like, given all the context, isn't that kind of what she's asking for? Not even asking, demanding? Ma'am. I declined politely and you accuse me of being rude. WTF. What's rude is treating my kid like a decorative accessory, an effing prop, and if that's not bad enough right there, but then you add acting entitled to her presence without extending even the most basic respect to her parent. The fact that you don't even see a problem with this is exactly why the answer is no. That sentence in itself, I think, is perfectly reasonable. Like, that is quite rude. Because it is one thing to ask, but it's another thing to then throw a fit if someone says no. Even if this person was close to that bride, they are still within their right to say no. And the respectful thing is to respect that. There is a reason why sometimes people will show true colors, or at the very least, very, very poor behavior around events like weddings or stuff like that. Seriously, WTF are you thinking? You are completely delusional. Delusional. Please stop texting because you can F right off. I won't change my mind. Now, like they said, that was pretty intense. And, you know, as far as they are expressing, like, they are trying to take accountability for that, and they're like, yeah, that was a little too far. And I think it's also true that, like, this is your child. Like, the mama bear was coming out. I understand that. Like, there is room for both, I think. I'm a big believer in that. Like, nuance is difficult, but I think important, because I generally agree. Like, if someone's being rude to you, do your best to not escalate it. But again, sometimes you just lose your cool, especially if it's, you know, involving your child that you are protective over. I also understand that. Both are true. We just do our best. Holy halibut. Yeah, no. Even if going off on her was a little unnecessary, that's a matter of opinion, I think. The feeling itself of being like, heck no. Completely valid. I would say, yeah, no. Especially if a person is then losing their mind at you saying no. If someone is really that offended by a very reasonable no, probably worth revisiting the relationship with said person. Big stinky. Go stand in the corner. Do not pass go. You do not get my $200. Use your own money to buy your hand towels and spoons. I do not believe you ate crazy cakes. I believe she did. Let's decide together what the crazy cakes flavor would be. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, I respect that. Like, it sounds like this person really tries to be self-aware and own up to not very proud moments. But also, hey, protect your child. Absolutely agree with that. There's no way I'd send my kid to basically a stranger's wedding by themselves. No! We have a wedding story I am extremely excited to read. In fact, the owner of the story, when I asked if I could read it, gave me even more glorious context. And you know, here we don't read the story beforehand. I try to just find titles that intrigue me. And so reading this without any context is hilarious. And they said I could read this message, giving this context. Did I already say that? Whatever. We have ADHD. You know how it goes. Yes, we. You are one with the squirrel brain. You have no choice. Anyway. Oh, absolutely. It's been 4 years, and picturing my friend's mother shouting, "The goddamn table's on fire," absolutely cracks me up. And I went, what am I in for? They also said, also for context, friend's mom is not even 5 feet tall and runs a daycare. In other words, does not curse because she deals with 2-year-olds all day. So when you picture this whole scene, this is who you're picturing. I'm so excited. I can already tell this is gonna make my whole day. In fact, I told them that. I was like, I cannot wait to read this. Oh my goodness, I'm so ready. Okay, you ready? I'm ready. Because the title says, "The wedding was on fire." Literally. Oh my gosh. So without further ado, grab your cozies and snackies. Let's head on into it. I usually don't do that before the title, or after the title. And the flair is horrible vendors. Bestie, what did they do? A couple of years ago, my oldest friend in the world married her now husband. She'd gotten out of an abusive relationship and met him. He's wonderful and I was so happy for her. We are happy for her too. Yes.
Leave that trash.
Well, her wedding was a series of unfortunate events going wrong. It just transported to the movie and now everything's chaotic. At least that would help them make some sense out of it. If they belonged in that universe. Everything goes wrong there. Some things were minor. She and her husband were supposed to take photos and have a golf cart drive them to their location. Oh dear. Okay, the venue never had the golf cart there for them. I thought it was gonna be like something involving the golf cart, but thankfully not. So he had to carry her out so she wouldn't have a heel stuck in the grass. That's smart. I was a dummy and wore heels during my wedding, and it was in my parents' backyard. In the grass. I went barefoot eventually, but I got out there and I was like, this was a mistake. Did not have the foresight. The brain cells didn't connect there. Why? I was an nincompoop. Let's see who's a nincompoop here. They lit the candles for the reception way too early, so by the time the guests sat down, there were no more candles. Just a little puddle. Imagine they didn't even have a little, like, thing holding it. It's literally just, the table is covered in wax now. Eat around it, it's fine. If you eat a little, what's the harm? You get a little more fiber. The sound system was terrible at the reception, so at my table, we had music blasting at us while some guests could barely hear. Everyone keeps trying to have a conversation at the one right next to the speaker. Then they have Cotton Eye Joe blasting in their ears. They're like, what did you say you do for work? I said I'm a research analyst. I research things. But that was not the worst part. No, friends. No. I appreciate how you write stories. That's it. Honorary sleepover member. It is official. Before the ceremony, they had the food over some sort of heater. It was an open flame. No. The flame got knocked over, and the table and tablecloth started to catch fire! There were about 6 waiters standing nearby. None of them noticed? What? This is not the time to be the kind of person who doesn't look at the explosion behind them. Please look behind you. Suddenly they all start putting on sunglasses, and everyone's like, what? Not everyone literally becoming the "this is fine" meme. That was until the mother of the bride walked in, saw the table, and screamed at her daughter's wedding. The goddamn table's on fire! All 6 clueless servers stood there on their phones! How long were they standing there? Fire and brimstone happening behind them, and they're just like... Oh, this is fine, dog. You speak to my soul. It's about to speak to your soul even more in a minute. Fortunately, they put the fire out and there was an open bar, so her mom could be slightly more relaxed. I'm very relaxed, though, because she knows she could start another one at any minute by accident. My poor friend, though, never looked relaxed at her own wedding, and neither did her mother. Oh, man. Now I kind of joke with her that her wedding was on fire. Fortunately, she's known me for 30 years and tolerates my twisted humor. I mean, as long as it's something everyone can, like, laugh at the end of the day, it kind of seems like that, because, I mean, this is your close friend. Ugh, that's what matters. I mean, that's the thing about it. You never know what's gonna happen at your wedding. As long as you can kind of laugh it off and still have a good day, that's what matters. In fact, it just makes for a great story that a little gremlin on the internet reads one day. So thank you for your chaos. Queen Capybara accepts. Maybe she won't smite me. Not me actually acting like her court jester. That poor bride and her mother just sitting there just like, everything's fine. This is a great time. Yeah, I really hope she can look back on that with humor. Seems like OP helps her do so. And it sounds like no one got hurt either, so it's just kind of like a whew, that happened. That was splendid. As I told her, that was like exactly what I love to read in these videos. It's like just the right amount of chaos, but like at the end of the day, everyone's able to laugh at it. Where it's like definitely a crazy thing that happened, but overall, lighthearted. Although in the moment, it probably felt like their hearts were lit on fire. And then our feel-good finale is so sweet. It's from 2-Sentence Happiness. What a cute sub! Maybe I should make a video where I read like a 2-sentence horror and then a 2-sentence happy. Balance. And it says, instead of being tossed, the bouquet at the wedding kept getting passed among different single people throughout the reception, and by the end, 17 people had held it. When the bride explained that catching the flowers was just a reminder that love is competitive, but there's enough love to toss around and everyone deserves a turn, holding hope. Aww. I don't know if that's real or not, but I mean, it's sweet. Because that would be a super awesome, like, tradition to do, or if not a tradition, just do that, you know? Just, like, pass it to everybody so everyone has a bit. Have you ever seen those videos where it's like, where some people go a little too hard at catching that bouquet? It kind of goes beyond like playful competitiveness and it just gets a little nasty. You're like, ooh. I've seen those every so often. They are a sight to behold. Barn wedding with warm Caesar salad. As I told them, I was like, I'm very intrigued by your title. Just... What? Yes, Bessie officiated. I would not be surprised if people have done that. That'd be kind of cute. Or make them the flower cow. Just the title alone just has just the right amount of chaotic energy I always look for in stories. Posting for my mom. She cannot handle the shame, so I may shield her from the cringe. My mom was invited as a +1 to a wedding of a couple she didn't know. It's funny seeing +1, because now I'm playing D&D, so like, now I look at things like that, and now my brain goes to D&D. Look what they've done. They've infected me. So that just looks like a +1 advantage. Or you rolled a 1 on the dice. Probably feels like she rolled a 1 on the dice. Oh, she didn't know the couple. Oh. The plot thickens. The plot of quicksand, of sanity. The invitee is my mom's best friend and has known the groom since he was a baby, is now 22. The wedding itself was in the middle of nowhere and a 3-hour drive from the nearest populated city in a renovated barn. Be careful now. Not sketchy at all. The ceremony was out in a field with no shade. Ew. And I'm guessing by that description it was warm. Yep. No umbrellas provided in the middle of a heat wave mid-90s. That is the worst. And for this Scandinavian skin, I'd be a tomato. Or lobster. Take your pick. By the end of the day. My skin always betrays me. And I love being outside. It's horrendous. Probably good I live in Washington then, I suppose. Obviously they couldn't have predicted the heat wave, but the fact that half the guests were older. Ooh, that was a choice. And there were definitely a few elders just roasting in the sun. Isn't great. Yeah, no, that's, that would have been great to plan for. Like, sure, have it outside, but, those are good things to be mindful of. I hope that wasn't too terrible for anybody, but especially the elders. By the time it was over, we were all raisins. We were all leathery in like that one SpongeBob episode. Ceremony was short and sweet, but then came photos up on a hill under a tree. A hill. Oh, wait. Or half the guests were older/elder. Guys! Guys! Half the guests? Yeah. What are you doing? My mom's best friend couldn't even make it up the hill because she had bad ankles. According to my mom, the good handful of guests just went straight to the barn because they couldn't make it up the hill. Like, that could be just an oversight, but just like, the average older person, like, that's hard to do. Like, factor that in, especially if you have a lot of wedding guests that are older. It's kind of sad that like some people like couldn't make it so much that they just don't get to be in the wedding photo. I hope they took another one like down by the barn, especially like some barns can be very pretty. Which if it's for a wedding, I'm assuming the barn was pretty pretty. Pretty pretty. Yeah, hopefully there was like a chance for everyone to take the photo. Didn't realize this became Squid Game. And you don't even get money. You pay money. The Hunger Games fee. Inside the barn, the buffet was already set up for their 4 p.m. dinner reception. The buffet included spaghetti and meat sauce, served separately in cold Caesar salad with warm dressing. Ooh, so it was cold at some point. That can't be good. Stale rolls, no butter. Not only were they stale, there was no butter to help swallow these bricks. And Costco sheet cake, probably the best thing there. Yeah, Costco's pretty solid. The food was being served on the first floor of the barn, but the tables were all on the second floor, up a flight of stairs. Why Why are there so many upward things? What in tarnation? That seems like a massive oversight. That is really unfortunate. All the older folks are just like, I didn't know I was having a workout today. Could have at least let me know so I could bring my sweatbands. I could at least be making one of those workout infomercials for all the work you're making me do. Come on. So there's just all these poor / elder folks carrying their plates up these stairs. And for some folks, they have to like use aids. They also have to carry food. To sit on the second floor of a barn where the heat is. Because that's how science works. That is so dumbfounding. Like, what? How was this not thought about? I get that not everyone is super, like, detail-oriented, but especially with how many heads come together when planning a wedding, surely someone thought of it. Right? Surely someone! Consuming cold meat sauce, but also warm dressing? Oh, was it cold? Oh, served separately in cold. Oh, I thought the Caesar salad was cold. I thought it started cold. The sauce was cold? Guys! The photographer came in with the rest of the guests a little later and was complaining very loudly that their talent was being wasted on such a barren landscape. Okay, I mean, I'm sure there was at least some pretty areas. Like, that's unnecessary. And there was nothing to take a photo of inside the barn, just horrible vibes. Ugh, that feels unprofessional, because even if you're thinking, it's one thing to think something, Jan, than to say it out loud. So everyone probably was like already sweaty for sure and uncomfortable, and you're just saying like, oh, nothing works. My talent. Everyone's just like, we're already so sweaty, and we need to sit down. To please just take the photos. Please have mercy. My mom and her friend didn't stay long after. Like, let's escape, please. They said their congratulations to the couple and left to have a burger elsewhere. I did hear that the floral arrangements were gorgeous though, so there's that. Hey, something positive, and you know, obviously hope the couple is happy. Dude, come on. What an uncomfortable situation. It can't even be like, I bet warm, like Caesar salad could be okay warm, but it needs to be like intentional warm, not sitting in a barn during a heat wave warm. Bessie's like, I have it. Imagine if all the animals were still in there. The tables are all by like the stalls and everything, so they're just feeling the hot breath of horses and cows. Because they're already hot. Probably not, but that's a funny image. Bessie's hot breath of, give me that salad. As is usual in these stories, that is unfortunate, but it made for a great story, so I hope that gives you some semblance of joy when thinking about this nightmare. Oh, and this is on behalf of your mom. I hope your mom's okay. That she can also tell this story, so she can cope. This is, am I the a-hole for threatening to take my future sister-in-law out of the wedding party? My hands are cold. The warmth already leaving my body as my soul attempts to retreat. I, 28 female, am planning my wedding for later this year. For the most part, I get along well with my fiancé's family, but things have gotten a bit rocky with my future mother-in-law lately. Well, that's never good. Not very splendid. It's splendor. The sugar of lies! I've always had a good relationship with my future sister-in-law, who's 19 and still in college. She's a bit of a tomboy and loves sports. Not a girly girl at all, but that's fine. I still consider her a child. Yeah, I mean, if you're like about 10 years older, it definitely is easier to feel that way. Am I a child? I can't talk anymore. Like, I know I'm the size of one, but come on, I went to college! Not my inner plankton coming out. Definitely now being almost 27, I will be next month. Is my birthday. I demand views as my gift. Yeah, almost being 27, I would say, like, looking at someone who's 19, yeah, it's very common. Like, once you get older, you start seeing the younger folk as indeed younger. Actually, I've officially reached old status in terms of, I kind of understand 6'7", but I also don't. That's like the first one I genuinely like did not understand, or do not. I don't know. I have a vague understanding of it. Break out the walker, it's already going downhill. That's also something I think about. I'm 4'9" already. I'm gonna shrink when I'm old. People are gonna confuse me for a lawn gnome.
Because I'll be the size of one.
And I'll knot your ankles if you treat me like one. Anyway, where are we? Right. When picking my wedding party, I knew I wanted her as one of my bridesmaids because getting married is a unity of families. And I know her being a part of the wedding would make her feel included. Yeah, everyone's different there. When it was time to order the bridesmaids' dresses, I ran into a problem. My maid of honor was put in charge of making sure the bridesmaids ordered their dresses I picked out for each of them. My sister-in-law was unresponsive to my maid of honor's attempts to contact her. So I reached out to her and my mother-in-law for help. Ah yes, the scuffle of wedding planning. I have been vocal with both of them since about 7 months before about which dress I want sister-in-law to wear, and we are now ordering the dresses about 3 months ahead. That is smart. That's definitely smart. Because even if something weird happens, you have time. These dresses are not crazy expensive, about $200 with shipping. $200 is still quite a bit, but you know, that's a matter of perspective, which I feel is a reasonable price for a bridesmaid's dress that is cute and can be worn again after the wedding. Again, that's a matter of perspective, and not only like the cost, but like how you feel about the dress. As long as everyone is truly like consenting and it's not too much to ask of the people involved, then thumbs up. 2 days before the deadline, my future mother-in-law suddenly decides they'll have her dress made instead, which came as a shock to me. I'm guessing for the future sister-in-law, not the mother-in-law. Right? I expressed my concern about matching the color to the other dresses, as it was a unique shade for our wedding. She said it could be done with a swatch, but I hadn't ordered one since I was satisfied with the color when I saw it in person. Ooh, yeah, that's... starting to get a little eye twitchy here. Because it's one thing to want to suggest an alternative and to like discuss the options, which the vibe I get, the vibe check, is that this person may have been open to that if there's communication. It's not cool to just decide like, no, we're gonna make it instead. Like, if there is a specific plan, and if you all agreed beforehand to pay that and everything was good to go, kinda not cool to change it. Tensions escalated, and I mentioned that if the color didn't match perfectly, it would upset me, as it would throw off the overall look. This is when my future mother-in-law called me a bridezilla and criticized me, saying I should save money on this expensive wedding and spending it on a house. That's a matter of opinion. I mean, you're fine to have that opinion, and we don't know what happened between, like, when tensions escalated and everything. We don't know what was said. We don't know how, like, out of line people started going. But if it's true, like, giving this person the benefit of the doubt, that if it was true that, like, everything was decided beforehand and everyone agreed, just the sudden change, that's definitely not her fault to be upset by. Especially if the mother-in-law is just going straight to, like, calling you names. Don't do that. Don't be a schmuck. It's yuck to be a schmuck. And hopefully the bride is also trying to be as, like, conscientious as possible. Because if it's about the money, I mean, first of all, that's important to communicate. Like, if it was decided beforehand and now suddenly it's just like, oh, we're gonna do this instead. Like, wait. That was their responsibility to communicate that. But yeah, who knows? We only get a little glimpse in this, but so far, that's definitely understandable to be stressed out by, like, sudden changes when you didn't even okay that. Because that is the thing, too. There is, of course, a level of when someone starts going into, like, bridezilla behavior, right? Like, we read stories like that. This doesn't give me the impression of that. Again, we don't know what the bride said to the mother-in-law, just as we don't know what the mother-in-law... Well, other than calling her a bridezilla, we don't know what was said. But still, like, communication's a beautiful thing. Oh, and then I was gonna say, at the end of the day, like, both can be true, and both should be true. Like, as the bride, in that sort of traditional sense, like deciding everything, yeah, just like making all the decisions, like make sure to listen to input of like how affordable things are for members of the wedding party and stuff, like be open to input, but also it's okay to like still be like, no, this is what I want. Again, assuming that everyone was good to go on the $200 dress. Because if there was discrepancy there, then like communication's gotta happen. As in any social situation, it's possible for any person involved to start going into like unhelpful behavior and like name calling and things like that. And sometimes you lose your cool. Based on what OP said, like maybe some of that happened, maybe some not so nice words were said, which again happens. As long as people took accountability for it and tried to move on from then that's what matters. But anyway, then said it was unreasonable to make all the bridesmaids buy their own dresses that they didn't even like. AKA referring to me not giving my sister-in-law one particular style of dress. See, this is kind of what I was saying. Like, if there was gonna be a problem, it would have been more helpful to bring it up about, I think it was about 7 months ago, to now to this point of this 3 months ahead, which, you know, again, that was good foresight to like, even, like we have 3 months in advance. But yeah, that would have been nice to know. Again, so far, other than maybe potential like heat of the moment things that could have been said like on the bride's side, I really don't see this as bridezilla behavior. As such, kind of rude for mother-in-law to color that. Yeah, if that was going to be a problem, then that needed to be communicated beforehand and have everyone have a level of openness of like, okay, like what is a compromise we can come up with? It's again going out of the benefit of the doubt that to the bride's mind, like everyone was good to go with this. So now it's like, what? My sister-in-law has broad shoulders, apparently according to my mother-in-law, and she wouldn't look good in the dress I chose for her. So she demanded for her to have the V-neck. What does the sister-in-law say to all this? And I'd say that's my biggest thing, is how much conversation have you had with the actual sister-in-law? Because it seems like a lot of correspondence is happening with the mother-in-law, which, probably not as helpful to like really get to the bottom of it. Like if the sister-in-law really feels that way, you know, it both can be true. That's valid, and also that needed to be communicated. Because I know at the end of the day, it's like, it's what the bride wants, and generally that's true. Like that's why the joke exists. Like, oh, even if it's an ugly dress, like you wear it for the bride because it's her day. And it's like, that's true. And also, I think there can be a reasonable amount of room of input, not only financially, but maybe even style-wise. Like, not to the point of like overshadowing what the bride wants, of course, because we're finding the nuance here. That's the goal, is to find the nuance. And seems like some of this could have been saved by not only having the direct conversation, but with the sister-in-law, because maybe there wasn't quite enough of that. However, when my maid of honor and I went to the store and tried on all the dress styles, the V-neck was very low, and I knew that my tomboy sister-in-law wouldn't be comfortable in it. So I gave her another style that I knew she would be more comfortable in. And again, like as far as we can see, there may be a lot of assumptions happening on all parties, which is a shame. Like this is why you need to have the conversation. Try your best to not have assumptions. Just ask the questions directly. Even if it might be awkward, even if it might be, you know, difficult to figure out the right solution, it's always just best to be as direct as you can, especially in wedding planning. So I hope, especially since this was a while ago, they were able to find some kind of resolution. Because it seems like both the bride and the mother-in-law are maybe making assumptions on what they think the sister-in-law may want, which who knows them better, I suppose. That's the thing, that just even the sentence, like, it seems like the OP tried to factor in, even in this like kind of stressful time, like how can I work with you here? So as far as I can see, like that was the intent, was to put the foot down, but also be open to compromise. I guess that sounds a little dichotomous, but I feel like you get what I'm saying. In the heat of the argument, I said that if she didn't order the dress that I picked for her on time, she wouldn't be allowed to be part of the wedding party. My fiance agrees with me and supports my decision, but now I feel conflicted because I truly want my sister-in-law to be part of the wedding, and I know it isn't all her fault. Am I the a-hole? I think the main way where you could be is in like the heat of the moment. You know, sometimes you say things, and sometimes we say things we regret. And kind of like I said before, if you truly were like, okay, like that wasn't cool of me, I'm sorry for what I said, I want to work this out. What can we do? And especially saying that to the sister-in-law. And I guess like to the mother-in-law too, because this is kind of the issue that's being created. Overall, I don't think so. I think this reads more as a like, oh, this is frustrating. And based on the sentences I'm reading, it seems like there's at least some like, I lost my cool a couple times. Oops. And hopefully OP like took accountability for that in the moments where, or maybe like she went a little too far, and hopefully the other people did too, like the mother-in-law, and hopefully the sister-in-law was able to be maybe a little more proactive based on what we're reading from OP's perspective, that it was hard to talk with the sister-in-law. Again, who knows? But overall, this seems more like a situation of giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, like not trying to cause problems, but try to find solutions. But everyone obviously has their own ideas of what's correct. And that's the hard part, you know, because again, sort of giving that benefit of the doubt of both the bride and the mother-in-law have an idea of what would be best for this sister-in-law. I forgot how to say it for a second, which that must have been hard. I hope they were able to resolve that. But like, I would not say you are being a jerkwad overall. Like I said, maybe some hurt feelings happened along the way. That unfortunately just happens in human interactions, human relationships. Why am I saying it like that? I'm a human too, I swear. Now I'm carelessly revealing my secret of being a lawn gnome. Yes, I've been an animated lawn gnome this whole time. I'd track, given my personality. But yeah, that's what I'd say. I'd be curious what you guys think. Because at the end of the day, this is from one person's perspective. And as we know, like, even if someone doesn't intend to hurt other people, sometimes it just happens. Like, impact is different from intent. But also, nuance exists. It's also like, even if some hurt feelings, like from the bride side, happened along the way, it doesn't seem like she intended for that. And like, again, that's valid too. Like if she did hurt someone's feelings, hopefully she took accountability for that, was able to like practice emotional maturity and be like, all right, oops, what can we do to to help everyone be happy. I manifest that's what happened. This is, I saw a woman I didn't know in our wedding photos months after the wedding. What do you mean? What do you mean? Hi everyone, my husband and I had 100 guests for our wedding. Everyone invited were people dear to us, and we really had to think of the guest list to be able to stick to the 100 head count. The invitations were also very clear on how many seats were reserved for you. I feel like choosing the right people is deceptively difficult. The balance between who you want there and who wants to be there, and it's a whole thing. So imagine my surprise when, 2 months later, this woman Sasquatched out of nowhere. Didn't know that was a verb? It is now. It is here. We got our photos back and I saw a woman we both didn't know. Just standing there. Menacingly. As ominously as my shadow back there. I figured maybe a relative randomly brought someone else. Wouldn't be surprised as they've done it to previous events. I like the word choice instead of like done it at previous events, it's to the previous events. Like some kind of boss fight in the middle of the event. I present my date. Choose your weapon. This is now Elden Ring. But my parents had no idea either. I brought up my confusion with the bridesmaid later on, and she knew who it was. Turns out one of our high school friends brought her mom. I mean, if... I mean, if they had, like, a +1, like, technically nothing wrong with that. And overall, it may not be that strange to, like, you know, see +1s you've never seen. Or I don't know, is that weird? If someone brings a +1, do the bridal couple typically know who they are? I feel like that happens kind of often, bringing a +1 that is not very well known. But again, I guess my thought process is also like, when they have some kind of inkling who they are. I mean, they would at least see like the connection from who their +1 is. I don't know, I guess it depends. And it's like, overall, it's not that strange, but it would be strange to and then look at your wedding photo and be like, who the heck is that? That's really funny. Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's not technically that weird, but it would feel odd to then see just this random person in your wedding photos. I truly don't understand what goes on in people's head when they decide things like this. Our catering and the seats were only for 100 people. Do they not realize food won't just magically appear to feed the extra person? Oh, was that not an... Oh, was that not... Oh! I'm buffering. Was that not a +1? Because I was going off the assumption that that was like a +1. Yeah, no, for this one. Oh, I'm beginning to understand. Yeah, if it's specifically 100 people, this particular wedding, it's very specific. So that's even weirder to see a random person you don't know. Yeah, everyone invited were people dear to us. Very clear on how many seats were reserved for you. So I'm guessing that that's the part that's really weird, is they brought their mom, but maybe they weren't a +1. That's kind of what I'm getting from this, because you're saying like this is an extra person. And that's the thing, some weddings that are planned very specifically, like down to the meal. And so if that's true, that's important to respect that, because there are other weddings like ours. This was like this. We just had like a... It was small anyway, but we had just like a taco bar. So like people could just grab whatever. But some weddings are planned specifically for a specific amount of people. That an extra chair won't just turn up out of nowhere. Someone wasn't able to go at the last minute because he got a fever the night before. So there was thankfully one extra seat. But it was literally just that one person that couldn't make it. Imagine if he was able to. Where would the mom go? Yeah, I'm glad that that worked out so it wasn't like too awkward. I'm just picturing you staring at your wedding photo at just this random woman. I guess like not that random because it's one of your high school friends. It's interesting that if this is one of your close high school friends, like you said, you invited people who were close to you that you wouldn't recognize their mom. But I suppose that doesn't necessarily mean you'd be close to their mom, because not every like high school friend you meet, like you meet their parents. People in the comments are saying like it's typically good to like plan for extra. That seems like good advice, to like always plan for extra, even if you have like a specific amount of people. I wonder if you saw her at all throughout the night. I wonder if you saw Madame Sasquatch throughout the night at all, or if it was literally the... No, yeah, I'm dumb. You literally said that it was the couple months later when you got your photos back that you actually saw her. Surprise, you got a jump scare. Yeah, from the context I can see your high school friend was invited, but maybe they didn't have a +1 and maybe they did that on accident. Hopefully that's true. Hopefully this wasn't just like someone knowing that they weren't invited even as a +1 and just came anyway. I hope it was just like a mistake in that regard. It's important to pay attention to see if you have a +1 on your invitation. And I'm glad that it ended up working out. And maybe this is where it's good to have just extra food, and maybe that's pretty commonplace with catering. So maybe it would have worked out anyway if that is commonplace, but you know, you never know. You never know. But how goofy just to be looking through your photos and you're like, who the heck is that? I hope that doesn't spoil it too much. My dear gremlins, the tea has been spilled. Huzzah. And then our glorious feel-good finale is this. A couple got married at an aquarium and there's just a beluga whale watching. I love how he's towering over the efficient, like, I'm the true efficient. Now kiss. That's so cute. I love how you can like see people in the background too. I feel like I can see a guy's face where he's like, what the? No, but everyone else is just smiling. And I love that like they're smiling. Like this is, oh, that's beautiful. What a great thing to look back on. Just this gentle cow of the sea crashing your wedding. The only acceptable wedding crasher. Beluga whales never need a +1. They're always welcome. Right? Is it manatees that are cows of the sea? Wait, manatees, beluga. Oh, I said the wrong thing. Whatever, same difference. I feel like they're both very gentle. Is that a manatee? Am I dumb? Is that a beluga? That's a beluga. That's a beluga. Right? I feel like I'm losing my mind now. Oh no. Oh no. I'm embarrassing myself. Now beluga whales and manatees are gonna come into my nightmares and go, how dare you? All right, and then we'll finish off with our gremlin spotlight. This one cracked me up. It's from a short I posted about never-ending chores because I was just feeling so annoyed the other day. Like I had done like almost a full basket of laundry. I filled it up again in the next like 5 minutes. I'm not even kidding. So anyway, I posted a short of that and someone said laundry is like Sisyphus, I think is how you say it. It never ends. And I wasn't quite sure what that was. And that's the guy that's continually pushing the boulder up the mountain. And I responded, OMG, the accuracy, because that's so accurate. And that's by Alizu4755. Glorious depiction of how painstaking chores are. And then because I'm greedy, I'm going to read another from a post I made where I said, the Gremlin Queen decrees for you to do something nice for yourself today. You have to. It's the law. And this true gremlin at heart, Molly the Butcher 7396 says, okay, but if anyone asks, I only did gremlin things. And I said the queen approves, because I do. And that post is still true. You better do it. It's the law. So put something down in the comments, something you have done nice for yourself today, or something you will do. Do it. And also drink water. Thank you. You dehydrated bean. So that should be it. I hope you're doing well, but if not, I hope this video has brightened your day at least a little bit. Always love a cozy reaction sleepover. And actually, this will be our 99th reaction sleepover. So I'm gonna do a little special celebration of 100. I don't know if I want to do 100 first or if I want to make the 100th the celebration thing. But we'll find out when we get there, I guess. But thank you for joining me for all these reaction sleepovers. If you are new here and want to see more, you can this one? This way? I think. Click here. Or if you've been here for a while, I still recommend it because I think they're quite fun and I think pretty rewatchable. I was kind of thinking about that, like the content I make, and I'm kind of like, I don't know how I got here, but I'm enjoying it. Yes, that'll be it. As always, I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And if you're new, hope you stick around and subscribe. Become one of the gremlin folk. We're all gremlins for something, and it's stories here. And just being cozy. Remember to submit any stories if you have any, including like holiday stories. I like the idea of doing like seasonal stories. So like we're in the holiday season, so I want to do holiday stories. So if you have any you want to submit, please do. I am really getting distracted during this outro, so I appreciate you as always. And as always, take care of yourself. Why can't I do it? Take care of yourselves and each other. Do your best to be a good human, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. I wonder if I put her back there. I like that I'm holding her like the Holy Grail.